Howdy folks, and welcome back to 50 Nautical Mile Arc. We are back in the Seabee RC3 and we are back at KANE, Janesfield. And I wanted to try this again. If you remember a few videos back, we planned to take this to Lake Harriet and land on Lake Harriet in Minneapolis, but we overheated, started on fire, and crashed into Lake in Blaine. So I went through and looked for a manual, could not find a manual for this plane. In fact, the link to the manual is broken. So there's no manual for this thing. If you recall, this used to be a payware aircraft that is now freeware. And I wanted to check it out, and it's really nice too. I can see why people would have paid for this originally. But anyway, I still want to make it to Lake Harriet without crashing. So that is what we're going to try to do. I'm going to use my knowledge of airplane mechanics and engineering to try to keep this alive without a manual. Can't be that complicated. And my clouds are working again. I've been having a hard time with SkyMaxxPro, which would only load the clouds if I change the clouds and put them back again. I haven't been able to load clouds with the sim starting up. They look funny though. They don't look quite right, actually. So we will find out when we get closer to them what the problem is. But I know SkyMaxxPro is loaded because you can see the Cirrus layer way up on top. So anyway, clouds and a new aircraft. So that's what we're going to do today. The only thing I could find out about this plane is that there weren't very many made and that people taxi with the door open. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to taxi with the door open. So let's hop inside and let's try to start this thing up. Again, it can't be too complicated. We're going to make sure everything is working. Okay, my yoke's working. Okay, so we're going to turn on the battery, turn on the generator, turn on the fuel pump, and we are then going to turn the avionics. And we need some lights going because we're going to start taking off here. And we're going to bring the mixer forward, propeller forward for now. Throttle, we need to push the key, the magnetos to both, and starter it is. Should start right up. And it did. So I'm guessing as long as we stay below the red line on the tachometer, we should be fine. I couldn't find anything else that really would, manifold pressure, I guess we could keep an eye on. I don't think anything changes when I move the props. Oh yeah, prop RPM. Of course it does. What am I thinking? Carb heat, we'll mess with it in a little bit. So I guess we'll just, once we take off, we'll just bring props back and throttle back, and hopefully we don't crash again. Anyway, not much else to say about this thing. It's pretty simple. I have some views set up in the back so we can look around and everything. And these dome lights turn on if you want them to. I think you just push them. Maybe there's a switch up front. I had them on earlier. I can't remember how I did it. But anyway, that is about it. We can put the yokes back in. Well, we actually need to, what's that do? Oh, get rid of half a yoke. Okay, come back. There you go. No, we need the lights, actually. So, and we need the car beat, so we'll keep that off. All right, well, let's taxi this thing. We are going to go to runway 36. Let's hop outside. I like to taxi outside just so I can see stuff. And I can't remember how we're going to turn. We're at the museum right now. Yeah, we're just going left and turn right, and the runway should be there. Yep, simple as that. All right. I'm way overthinking this thing. I've been flying big aircraft lately, and I'm just forgetting how to do this other stuff. All right. Here we go. We'll taxi with the door open because that's what I've seen done. Maybe it's for fresh air. Maybe it's because people normally land on water, and it's just easier to get out. I don't know. Or to dock and throw ropes to people. Only thing I can think of. Alright, so here we go. We're leaving the museum. If you look back, there's a bunch of, oh, we're on the wrong view here, but if you look back, there's a bunch of aircraft back there for the museum. Alright, we're using the tail view. That's why the round banks instead of the airplane. This is a tail dragger, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, but it's a boat in the water. It's like as boat can be. It's really funny. Let's slow down a little bit. I think I can make this turn. So straight ahead is the tower for KANE, and then at the base of the tower there's a parking lot, and then you can see airplanes land and take off. There's a picnic table, gazebo, and stuff you can sightsee, and I am trying to concentrate while I do this. Alright, cool. Alright, you've all seen this before. I'm just going to meet you at the end of the runway. Alright, we're about to take our turn onto A1, which will lead us right to runway 36. So here we go. I've also said before, when I've sightseen planes taxi here, they taxi so fast. They go like 30 miles an hour. It's crazy. Alright, let's see. A1 ending, and we're at 36. Kind of like a passing lane here. Kind of funny. More hangars up above. I did model this airport, by the way, in case you didn't know that already. This was my big project. It's on the Senior Gateway, so it should be in your version of Xplane already. I had it in there sometime during version 4, I think. Alright, let's get on the taxi, or on the runway here. Get those landing lights on, taxi lights off. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing while I'm... I wasn't watching where I was going because I was looking down. Again, that whole peripheral vision thing, when you don't have it, it really makes things difficult. Alright, we're going to do flaps down. I think they go down 2. I'm just going to go down 1. Propellers forward. We got to stop, though, because we got to close that door. I have a door preset. There it is. Come on. Alright. Props in, mixture in, throttle in, and flaps down, and away we go. We're just going to get out of here. We have to be careful about our stuff. Make sure we don't go past that red. Airspeed is alive. We're tipping forward because we're tail dragger. Remember that. And we're up. I think we're up. No, we're not. Up, 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 up. There you go. Flaps in. Landing gear in. And I'm going to dial back props right now because I'm panicking about starting on fire. The manifold pressure is okay. I don't know what is involved to keep this from starting on fire. So you can tell I'm really nervous about it because we didn't get very far last time. Anyway, my props are below the red, so my RPMs are below the red. We'll climb a little bit, and then we'll dial back the throttle. I did find that cruising speed is 103 degrees, or 103 knots, or miles per hour in the real aircraft. 103 miles per hour. Okay, we're going over the big aviation hangar there. If you wonder why my microphone is funny, it's because I'm chasing a cat off my flight sim. Get away, kitty. Oh, jeez. He steps on my laptop and turns things off. Alright, anyway. That was dramatic. You couldn't see that, of course, but he's there. Big Maine Coon all over my stuff. And now he's on my laptop. Get off, kitty. Alright. So we are at about 105 miles per hour. So we will start to dial back our speed a little bit. I don't want to... We don't need to get much higher than this. Okay, let me zoom in here. Okay, so there's that white triangle. I assume that means that's your ideal cruise speed. At least that's what is said in the real life specs for this. And there's Laddie Lake in front of us, so if we get past that lake, we made it farther than last time. Anything to see here? There's Highway 10. That's US 10 now. That used to be 118. And then they took US 10, moved it over there, and changed US 10 to County 10. Yes, this is where I grew up most of my life until I met my wife, and then we moved to South Minneapolis. There's the Mississippi on the right. Laddie Lake, we're still alive. We haven't started a fire yet. I'm bringing back the throttle still, though, because we're above that white triangle. I'm going to use that as my gauge, because that's about 105 miles per hour. 105, and the real life manual said 103, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to trim up a little bit here. Where are we at? 2,000 feet, so we're about 1,300 above ground level. I don't know what lake that was, though. Alright, we made it past Laddie Lake. We crossed Highway 10, so we're doing better than we were. There's Highway 65 under us. And I think that lake that's split by the highway in front of us is, I think it's Moore Lake. When I was a kid, we went swimming there all the time. Alright. Anyway, I just realized this video is going to kind of turn into story time, but that's because there's not much else going on. We're just flying to Lake Harriet. There's a skyline in front of us. Oh boy, this cat. Kind of wish you could see this cat. He's a purebred Maine Coon, and he's about a quarter the size he's supposed to be. But he's just as goofy and clown-like as he's supposed to be. Alright, still trying to trim up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to bring the carb heat out, I think. Let's listen, see if the engine sound changes. It did. Good. Alright, still not on fire. So far, so good. Oh, now the cat's on the piano. Okay. Anyway, if you look, you see some nice cloud shadows over there. Hope I saw some other stuff here. Pilot light. Okay, let's turn on some lights. Cool. Oh, those are those lights up above. Whoops. Hang on, my mouse is going crazy because of the cat. Hang on. Let's fix that. Alright, we don't need the lights on. We're losing altitude here. Okay, we'll just go down Highway 65 and then we'll go to Mississippi. Let's hop outside, I guess. There we go. Good. And my frame rates do dog because the Minneapolis skyline is some freeware stuff that's actually really good. It just is horrible for frame rates. That little lake you see under the airplane, my wife's brother used to live there. I don't know what that empty field is down there. See the airport in the background. Highway 65. I used to have a friend that lived in that neighborhood below us. And I believe that's Moore Lake. I put the title below so you can see if I'm correct or incorrect. But mainly, I lived most of my life way out there in a suburb called Coon Rapids, northwest suburbs. But we lived in this area for a very short time. But I built up friends here. So when I moved to Coon Rapids, I kept the friends from Spring Lake Park and Blaine. There's Interstate 694 already. You can even see the green signs. That's so cool. I love the detail for VFR flying in Xplane. And this is all default. It's HD3 mesh, but it's all default scenery and autogen. There's St. Paul right off the left wing. Downtown St. Paul, downtown Minneapolis. And there are the lakes. You can see Cedar Lake. Here, I'll line this up. Cedar Lake is straight in front of us. Lake of the Isles is to the left. Lake Calhoun is behind that. Lake Harriet is behind that, and that's where we're going to land. And now you see some tall buildings on the horizon. That is FREEWARE. That is part of the Minneapolis VFR FREEWARE that goes with the skyline. Those are buildings and hotels on the Edina-Bloomington border. I will do an actual VFR video down south of the South area metro. You can see Mall America and IKEA, if you know where to look. So look straight above the wing, the red stripes on this wing. If you look up, you see a little lake. That's Lake Nokomis. Beyond that, though, just before the horizon, that's Mall America and IKEA. And this is the Mississippi River. It joins the Minnesota River just out of view. Well, I can see it on a huge monitor, but you probably can't make it out. And below us is a huge train yard. That bridge under the airplane used to be the way we would get across the river. As you see, there's the river there. I used to actually live at the bottom of that bridge, and then the wing is over a river. It used to be that was the way, or 694 back here, and then they finally built some bridges in the northwest suburbs. And why am I talking about that? I have no idea. Anyway, so then where the hot air balloon is, just off the wing to the left, I used to live there for a while. I met my wife and she lived there and I moved in with her. And then, well, we moved out of state, moved back, and that she lived there, we moved out of state, moved back, and then we moved in together there. What else? There's Lake Minnetonka over there. Crystal, Robbinsdale. Alright, we're coming up to the lakes here. Let's hop inside and manage our systems. Alright, we're going a lot slower than I need to be, I guess. But we're not on fire, so that's the important thing. So I don't know if it's the prop RPM that would start us on fire, or if it's the throttle. I mean, our manifold pressure is way low. Our props are getting kind of high. And our speed is below, but we're not on fire, so that's all I care about. Alright, so flying over North Minneapolis now. That's Interstate is 94 you see below us. I'll join 394 and go out to the suburbs. So, these lakes, if you ever get to Minneapolis, even if you're visiting, Even if you're here on business, try to walk around the lakes. The actual city limit of Minneapolis has 10 actual lakes in it, plus some ponds. No other city has 10 actual lakes within the city limits. So if you can, get around the lakes. Lake the Isles is okay, but my favorite is Lake Harriet. It's a bunch of family-oriented people. Lake Calhoun is all the college-oriented people. So if you want to see girls play volleyball in bikinis, even when it's not the season for it, go to Lake Calhoun and you'll see it. You won't see anything like that at Lake Harriet. You'll see families and strollers walking around, and so I prefer Lake Harriet, probably because I'm older myself. I'm almost 40 years old, so I'm way beyond the college scene. Although I've never liked Lake Calhoun. It's always been too busy for me to just, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the type of people are there. I used to be in college myself, so I understand, but it's just so busy. Well, Lake Harriet isn't that busy. Anyway, if you get a chance to go around these lakes, you can walk or bike. There was a time all my life I wanted to bike around these lakes, but I never got there because I lived so far away in the suburbs. So when I met my wife and we moved out of state and moved back, we moved further to down south Minneapolis, which I talk about every time I fly into KMSP on runway 12 left, right over my house there. I finally got to bike around the lakes. Finally. It was my mid-20s. I finally got there. I was all by myself. Actually, no, I biked from northeast Minneapolis. So it was about 10 miles to get there. But anyway, funny story. I get to Lake Calhoun, and I'm following all the laws. Speed limit is 10 miles an hour, and you will get a ticket. And pedestrians will get a ticket if they're walking on the bike path, that kind of thing. I was following all the laws on my bicycle, and I come up. I'm about not even a tenth of a mile into my bike ride, into my very first bike ride on Lake Calhoun. And I rang my little bell to pass somebody on the left, and I startled this guy. And this being Lake Calhoun, he was your cliche football quarterback, jock type on a bicycle. He couldn't even ride a bike. He was all over the place. So I rang my sissy little bell and scared the living daylights out of him, and he basically fell off his bike. I didn't mean to. I wasn't being aggressive. He just wasn't good at riding a bike. So then he yells at me, I'm going too fast, and it's 10 miles an hour. And I'm like, I am going 10 miles an hour. You're going like 5 miles an hour, which is why I fell off your bike. Anyway, he got pretty upset with me. So I kept going. I'm like, whatever. And he had these two youngish women / girls with him. And he was probably, wanted to look awesome in front of these tiny 80-pound women, right? So all cliches. I know these are cliches, but that's what you get at that lake. So I'm going along, and then my wife calls me because, we're attached at the hip. Sorry, but we are. So she calls me, I pull over and get off my bike, far off the trail. I'm talking on the phone, and this guy and his girlfriends or whatever they are pass me. And then I get back on my bike, and I catch up to them again because they're still going 5 miles an hour, and I go to ring my sissy little bell, and I pass him again. He starts calling me all these horrible names. And I'm just like, what in the world, And that was my very, very first experience of biking around these lakes. After wanting to do it for 20-some years, I finally got to do it. Now, that being said, that's never, ever, ever happened again. I put thousands of miles around these lakes, so that's not normal. It's just kind of a funny story. Alright, anyway. So we're almost there. We're almost 20 minutes into our flight. So it's taking a little longer than I thought, but we're going really slow. Well, I guess we sped up now, but we were going really slow. Given the speed people drive around here, we weren't going too much below or above actual driving speed. People in Minnesota drive very fast. People used to tell me that Chicago people drove fast. No, Chicago people do not drive fast like Minneapolis. I'll be in the right lane doing 5 over the speed limit, and people just blow by me like I'm standing still all day long. I don't get that in Chicago. I've driven Chicago many times. I've never had that happen there. So anyway, let's have a look at what we're doing here, because this is really cool. It is always fun when you know the area. I know most of my viewers are not from the area, but there's KMSP. So at this altitude where we are, we would actually be directly in the flight path for 12 left. This is where they'd come over. They come over Lake Harriet right here. See that? You can see the runway. So we would not be able to do this in real life because we'd be totally violating airspace, but it's a simulator and I like it. Anything else? Well, there's those hotels and stuff down there. Southdale Mall is up there in front of us. The very first mall in the United States. I currently live right by there. I could not quite walk there. But alrighty, we got to come down. This is what we're going to do. We're going to come down and land on this lake right below us. So Lake Harriet is on the right, Lake Calhoun is on the left. That little pond in the middle, oh, I think it's called a lake. I can't remember the name. There's a cemetery there though. Lake of the Isles is that funny looking middle finger one, and then Cedar Lake is to the left, which used to have an unofficial nude beach, and they shut it down a couple years ago before I had a chance to visit. Ha ha. Although I think people still go naked, but the cops are there all the time. I am not kidding. That's a post for the police department. It's just to sit there. Funny story. Alright, let's head back now, or let's actually put props in, kill the throttle. We might be too close and fast. I might have to do another pass by. We'll see. I'm not landing anywhere in particular. I'm just going to land there. So we'll lose altitude. And if we can't lose enough speed, we'll go around again. There's Mall America and IKEA right in front of us, by the way. Alright, now we can do some flaps. I think there's 2 sets of flaps in this. There's a second flap. Yeah, 2 sets of flaps. Alright, whoa, we need some speed, or throttle, which is not unusual for letting out a second set of flaps. There's Minneapolis right in front of us. Let me see if I can get a screenshot of this quick before we have to concentrate. There we go. Not the best view of the airplane. Let me try that again. Okay, we'll see if that works. Alright, here we go. We're actually quite a bit higher than we look. Ground level is only like 735 or something here. There are tall houses, 3-story houses here, but not buildings that tall that we just passed over. Alright, so water landing, it's a boat. I've never landed a boat on the water, so I assume we're going to bounce and stuff. As long as we don't tumble, I don't really care, but we're probably going to bounce. I'm not expecting to do a good landing on this thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Float plane, I can land that without bouncing, as I've proven to everybody. But, let's see, do we need to go around? Yeah, we're 300 feet off the ground. Let's go around. Sorry, everybody. We don't need to make a full pass around, though. We're just going to make a little quick turnaround. But anyway, I've landed float planes just fine, but this is not a float plane. This is a boat. So, I really don't know how to land this thing. Alright, let's do a go around. Like I said, there's not an official water landing here. Although I think if you look at some charts, there used to be, because I do think there's a boat anchor on some flight charts on Lake Harriet or Lake Calhoun, which means water landing, but I don't think that's current. Alright, let's just circle around. To walk around the lake, it's like 2.7 miles. To bike around the lake, it's 3.1 miles. Or that may be Calhoun. Calhoun's a little bit bigger. I can't remember which for distance. I just bike and walk. I don't care. Alright, I'm going to bring my props in a little bit. A little more throttle. We're definitely flying dirty, man, because I got the throttle way up. We have the flaps way down. Alright, so let's try this again. Let's lose some altitude now. It's because I know in real life there are some very, 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 very tall trees here. So I'm trying to stay high above the ground because I know it's there in real life. But this is a sim and there aren't any trees in the way, so let's just come down. Okay, we're banking kind of sharp here. There we go, that's better. Now we're about 300 feet off. We got plenty of space. Let's see, there is actually a beach over there. Let's try to go to the beach. Alright. And the problem with water landings is you never know how high you are. You're supposed to look off to the side and use the shore as your gauge, but I can't see without peripheral vision. So we're just gonna kill the throttle. Hopefully we don't stall. Let's just safely, gentle. We're stalling, so let's see if we can still land though. Ooh, we bounced a little bit. Not terrible though. Oh yeah, now we're going nuts. Okay. Let's bring in the flaps and see if that helps calm us down. Okay, that seemed to work. That seemed to level us off. So maybe you don't use flaps for water? No, you have to, because you got to go really, really slowly. Anyway, where are we? Is that the skyline? Okay, so there's well, there are 2 beaches. Yeah, there's a beach over here for real, so let's go this way. Alright, well, let's hop outside and see what's going on. Okay, so the seagulls and birds and stuff, that's part of the plane. That's not... I don't have bird sound packs installed or anything. That's just part of the plane. Alright, well, let's not get... Yeah, I'm not going to waste time taxiing to shore. Let's just stop right here. Now, parking brake in some airplanes on the water is also an anchor, so let's do parking brake, see what happens. Come on. There we go, anchor deployed. Nice. Good. Let's open that up so people can... Well, so we can let the police in and arrest us. Alright, let's have some look at the replays, I guess. I'm kind of curious to see how bad our bounce was. Let's have a look at that. Alright, so here we are coming in. Let's have one quick look around. Alright, good. So full flaps. I just want to see how this works out. Like I said, my expectations for a smooth landing were 0, so let's see what happens. So, I mean, that looks like a good approach. Yeah, we did bounce. So we stalled at the last second, which, I mean, you don't want to do that, obviously, but... So we bounced once, and then we just kind of, like, rocked along. So I guess it wasn't too terrible. Our doors... Look at the door's missing. The door is missing on the replay. That's funny. Could just open in real time, and it's missing in the replay. Alright, I don't need to see that again. Let's go back to real time and shut this thing down. Alright, our door's still missing. Is there like a... Oh my gosh, you can see the hinges and everything. That is hilarious. Ever since I updated to Xplane 10.51, I've been having replay problems. You saw in my previous video, landing in Minneapolis, how the plane went invisible during replay, and now here we're missing part of our plane during replay and it didn't come back. That, and I've never had issues like that until 10.51, so I really don't know if it's just me or everybody else. Alright, anyway, we've been doing this for half an hour. This was going to be like a 10-minute video and it ended up being half an hour. So let's shut this thing down, pull back the mixture and the props. And parking brake is already on. We can move that to off. And let's keep some of our lights on so that people know we're out here. And we'll keep, we'll just run off the battery for a second. Alright, that is about it, I think. Oh, there's a door here too. Did we lose that one? Come here, open up. Where are you? There you go. That was cool. Well, another door. Wait a minute. Why are there so many doors on this thing? I guess it depends how you dock, I guess. Huh. Cool. Good. Everybody jump out. I guess we'd have a dinghy come up to us. Anyway. Alright, well, that was way longer than I thought, but that's okay, I guess. And I hope you enjoyed the story time. I know there are other simmers of other types of sims that tell stories and people just gobble it up. So I've only done story time once before this. So hope you enjoyed story time. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Hope you enjoyed the water landing in this FREEWARE aircraft, which is great. I would have paid for this had I known it was available before. Anyway, if you found by accident, please subscribe. If you're a regular subscriber, thank you for your continuing support. And please stick with me, and we'll have more videos soon. If you have any ideas for videos, please leave them in the comments below. I have a whiteboard full of about 25 flights planned, but I put requests ahead of those. So, yeah, there we go. And I will catch you on the next one.